Stephen, you've come all the way to a cold, wet Montrose. You drew the game on each from a winning position. Is it 2 points lost or a point gain for you?
I think when you score first, and then you can see that it kind of feels like you potentially could have won the game. I think with some decent chances in the game, we probably restricted them to very little. We played them earlier in the season, and they want to build from the back and they want to play well. We worked a little bit yesterday on our shape and how we could stop them and how we could win the ball high up and maybe break from there and get some opportunities. So, again, the young boys took the information on very well. I just still think we're a little bit naive in possession at times. It's probably gone back to the last 3 or 4 games where we work ever so hard to win the ball back, and then we give it away within our first pass, sometimes within our first or second pass, and it's frustrating because it means you're on the back foot, for spells in the game. But with regards to commitment and attitude and effort, it's been a tough 2 weeks. That's been 5 games in 2 weeks for the boys. So, we've continually had to go back and ask the same ones, to perform again. And it's tough work. It's tough physical work for them, but it's a good learning curve. So a point, is good for us. It keeps us adding points to our tally. But I just have a wee gut feeling maybe we could have won the game today.
You say that and you talk about the naivety. I suppose you're going to get that. I mean, your team's 3 16-year-olds, 5 17-year-olds. You even bring a 14-year-old off the bench. It's an incredible start when you think of how young your team is.
It is. It's very encouraging for me. It gives you a little bit of drive and determination to keep going because, see the effort they're putting in. Of course they're naive and of course they make the wrong decisions at the time, and I get a little bit frustrated with them and they get frustrated as well. But it's all about trying to promote them as quick as we possibly can. I think it's been a good 2 weeks that I've seen some players who I haven't seen playing before, some players who possibly haven't had opportunities and have now had opportunities. So everyone's had a fair crack of the whip so far. But bringing the young ones in and seeing their enthusiasm, it keeps you going. Hopefully it bodes well for the future. But we don't just want to play them; we want them to progress. We want them to improve. And that's my job over the next little while. Is
that what you work with? All the kids are in the Caribbean, they're playing under 15s, under 17s. Semple played today, comes off at 14-year-olds. James Scott's featured a couple of times against Celtic recently, just at 15 as well. That must bring its own challenges for you working with guys who you don't work with on a daily basis. But from a club's point of view, it's encouraging. It is.
The frustrating thing is you don't really get the chance to kind of work with them on a daily basis because they're still at school naturally. So when you're putting them on in games, you're trying to coach them through the game as they're on it. You're trying to sit with them during the game and point little things out so when they go on they can do that. But it's just trying to prepare them for coming into full-time football. Letting them see what it's like to be an under-20 player. Just give them a little taste of what could potentially be ahead for them. Travelling up in the big coach today, was nice for young Jamie Semple. He's felt part of the boys already. So, just trying to encourage these kids that if you come to our club, we'll give you an opportunity. If you're good enough, you'll be pushed on, you'll be stepping up. And you see Chris Cadden and Dom Thomas and Ben Hall over the past few weeks playing the first team. That's encouraging. That has to drive the rest of the under-20 players on. And then the under-17s, under-15s have to come and fill their gap. So, listen, that's what we want to do. We want to try and promote them as quick as we can. They have to be ready. They have to be up to standard, of course, to do. But when they get there, and come to our clubs, they will get opportunities.
Looking at both goals, you'll be pleased with the commitment for your players. In the first goal, Josh Moore does it, goes in, fakes, gets a nice little 1-2, and a decent finish for him. And that's his first goal for the 20s. He'll be pleased with that.
Well, he hasn't had a lot of game time, Josh. It's been frustrating because there's other players ahead of him, other players with a little bit more experience, maybe been in full time, probably a year ahead of him. So he's had to bide his time. He done okay today. It's tough when you haven't played a lot of football and your fitness is not where it should be. But that should give him a lift. That should push him on. He's been training well, working hard, but it's hard to replicate that in training sometimes. But yes, pleased for him, pleased for everybody who came in and worked very, very hard.
And obviously the goal you conceded, it's a wonder goal really. It's not the first time you've lost one like that this season, but 30-35 yards out of the postage stamp. From a coaching point of view, you pick out any bones in that, or do sometimes you just need to hold your hands up and say it's a great strike, son?
Well, there's always moments in the build-up where you could stop it. I felt as if we won the ball deep in their half and we gave it away, and we didn't really regain possession again. I don't want to name the player because he's done very well, but we lost the ball deep in their half, and the fact they've travelled up the pitch with nobody making any contact or getting the ball back. Ultimately, you have to hold your hands up and say it's a good strike. From a coaching point of view, of course, you can always stop these things at source somewhere along the line. But if you're going to give someone a free shot from 25 yards from goal, if he hits a target and puts it in the top corner, sometimes you just got to pat him in the back.
But even then, after that, your team almost could have won it. United scrambled one off the line in the 93rd minute as well. And I suppose that shows good commitment of your team. They didn't let that, peg them down a little bit and didn't let it overcome them and get back into the game and probably should have won it.
Well, we had a wee bit of a wobble just after they scored. We lost a little bit of heart and a little bit of confidence, and I was worried then about, the energy levels. Because sometimes when you concede and you're feeling a little bit tired, you become worse. So, but they didn't. They stuck at it. We tried to bring on David Ferguson and Dylan Mackin just to kind of freshen things up a little bit. You know, they've been at Airdrie doing very well, the two of them. So just to bring them back on, just give us a little bit more of a foothold in the game. We did have the opportunity towards the end, but a couple flashing across the goal and bouncing about. It might have been a little bit harsh on Dundee United, you know, if they scored. You know, I think we played them down at our place earlier in the season and we scored in the 92nd minute, you know, to win 4-3. So it would have been a bit harsh on Dave Bowman, but it would have been nice to win. But to come up and show the commitment and character on a tough day, you know, the pitch wasn't great at times. You know, it looks very good, but the ball didn't roll great, a little bit sticky. So, you know, I think a point's a point.
Stephen, thank you.